Hey, 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 hey.
Hey. Just testing it.
All right, welcome back to the World Tour bonus episodes. Claire joins me, the beautiful Claire. Hello, Dali. Hello, Dali.
Hello.
We always, me and Claire always pretend to be my nonna. We always go, hello, Dali.
Hello, Dali.
That's our greeting for each other. So feel free to pick that up. How lucky are we? We got back from Japan a few weeks ago. We got to do World Tour episodes on our trip to Europe, and now we are going to do some on our trip to Japan. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we actually this story starts out of Japan back in Melbourne, because the night we were supposed to leave to get our flight, we had dinner at my parents' place. And what happened, Claire?
We had a great time and then went to get back into my car and someone stole the license plates off my car.
We lost the license plates to Claire's car. Someone stole them. If it was you and you're listening, fuck you. But otherwise it was okay. So then we had to call the police, and we're like, we were going to the airport the next morning. We're like, we're going to the airport the next morning. We can't be dealing with this, right?
Yeah.
And then you were pretty distressed about that.
Yeah. And I don't know. The police were like, oh, you can still drive it. You've got the police report now. And so that was fine, but I just felt like a criminal.
Yeah, so we drove to the airport the next morning with no license plates, probably looking like a criminal who's about to flee the country, stole a car.
5 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
It's dark out. I don't know. Not ideal, but that's fine.
We board our Qantas flight to Narita Airport, and it's it's a very easy flight compared to Europe, our adventures in Europe, which was a 3 8-hour flights, 2 transfers. It's only a 10-hour flight to Japan.
Yeah, it was pretty pleasant, really.
And so we arrived in Tokyo probably 7 o'clock. And when you arrive, you got to take the train into the city. It's probably an hour and a half on the train. So it sort of adds another hour and a half. Get into our accommodation, which was just near Shinjuku. And we went to get dinner. And what was I've been to Japan before. So at this point, it's about 8 o'clock. We're hungry. We've checked in. What's your impression of Japan?
I remember as we were on the train going through Tokyo to get to Shinjuku, I was just like, oh my God, this place is so chaotic. It was just so busy and people everywhere and lots of noises and bright lights and blah, blah, blah.
You mean at the airport or just when we got into the city?
Yeah, as we were on the train, I was just looking out the window and just trying to take it all in. And then when we were walking to the hotel, it was still I don't know, really busy, just lots of people around.
You were pretty overwhelmed.
I was really overwhelmed.
Yeah, because you've never been have you ever been outside of Europe traveling? Oh, you've been to Thailand or something?
No, I haven't been to Thailand. Malaysia and Hong Kong and Singapore. Not in a very long time. That was when I was younger, traveling with my family. So, yeah, I was a bit overwhelmed. And then I think I was just a bit tired, a bit hungry. So I was like, cool, bite to eat would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we went to this random restaurant called Noodle World or something. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to have my first bowl of ramen, right? But it wasn't a ramen place. It was some weird noodle place. And I just I don't think the menu had, oh no, the menu did have English, but I didn't read it. I just pointed at something and asked for it. And it came and...
Well, I was reading the menu and I was like, oh my God, I don't want any of this. It all said, pretty much everything had tripe in it. Which I don't know what
tripe was, so I was fine with it.
And I didn't say
Explain what tripe is.
I just think of it as the yucky parts. So I didn't order anything. I had a little taste of yours and I was ew.
Yeah. So first meal, not great.
And then I was panicking that I wasn't going to be able to eat anything.
And yeah, Claire's we've got 2.5 weeks here and I'm going to hate every part of it.
I'm going to be starving.
Anyway, we go back to the hotel. Got good...
No.
What?
you remember we were like, oh, maybe we'll just go to 7-Eleven?
Oh, actually though, I went to pay. We had just got there. It was cash only. I'm like, I don't have any cash. And the guy was like, oh. And I was like, I'll go get some cash. So then we left and he probably thought we were stealing.
Well, no. Do you remember? Because you were like, oh, I'll leave like my phone or my wallet or whatever. Like, and he was like,
no, it's okay. Yeah. And then we went to 7-Eleven. And what did we do there?
I got my very first egg sandwich.
Yes.
Which I instantly fell in love with.
Because this is the thing. We realized the 7-Eleven, Family Mart and Lawson are like the three kind of convenience stores in Japan, completely different from Australia. In Australia, one, everything at 7-Eleven is like hideously overpriced.
And not very nice.
And you get food poisoning if you have a sausage roll, right? In Japan, it's like amazing and very cheap. So we were really excited about that. And you wanted to try these egg sandwiches. Describe them.
Oh, it's just like the fluffiest bread, like real squishy bread.
Soft, almost like moist bread.
Really good bread. And then just this like, I don't know, it's like egg and mayo, I guess, mixed together. It's just like the creamiest egg mixture ever. Oh, it's so good. I miss it.
Unbelievable egg, yeah. And so 7-Eleven became our like main food place for pretty much the whole trip, and it should be yours too if you go.
It's so good.
Yeah, and the hotels, we learned our lesson in Europe that we wanted to get hotels that were slightly bigger, like just a little bit more foot room. So we specifically looked for that, and the place we stayed in Tokyo was pretty good. It's called 100 Stay.
Yeah.
It was quite a good location and good rooms.
Yeah.
Anyway, next day, we walk into Tokyo City, like Shinjuku, Shibuya, Harajuku. Now, I've obviously been before, as I said, so why don't you give, like, what are your thoughts as we're doing this?
I just remember thinking Tokyo is like the biggest city ever that I've been to. Like, it just was like skyscrapers and billboards like everywhere, like for as far as you can walk. I just thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, very overwhelming, very busy.
So you walk past like Harajuku, I think. That was like the first strip we went down. So in Harajuku, the first thing we saw pretty much was this puppy cafe, and you really wanted to go to like a lot of animal cafes.
Yeah. I know it's not the most
ethical.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're... This one actually seemed all right.
It seemed fine, yeah.
Yeah. But we actually already had a booking at a Micro Pig cafe on the Wednesday. This was Monday, I think. And so we just went in for this puppy cafe, and you can pay like for 15 minutes and you just play with all these puppies, and it was so fun.
Yeah, it was the best. I loved that.
And it's really therapeutic just sitting there with puppies, and then then we just left.
Yeah.
And I can't even really remember what else we did that first day. I know we went into Shibuya, and that's right, they had the Parko. Shibuya is like the main city area, and it's incredible. It's got the Scramble Crossing, which is the busiest pedestrian crossing in the world. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, I don't know, it was awesome. Just like, again, very busy.
Yeah. And then we went to like the Parko building, which is just one of the many malls. And I took you there because that has like a Pokemon Center, a Nintendo store, and all this gaming stuff. Pokemon Center was so good.
Yeah, it was actually very cool.
Yeah.
Even
and
for me who is not that into Pokemon, but it was very cool.
And they had like the life-size Mewtwo at the front. Remember that? That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
The Mewtwo in like the test tube from the movie. And you found your new favorite Pokemon. Do you want to explain who that is to everyone?
Yeah. What's it called again? Munchlax.
Yeah. So why do you
so cute?
Why do you like Munchlax?
Oh, because it just snacky, sleepy little cutie.
So you like Snorlax, right?
Yeah. So I watched Pokemon when I was a kid.
Yeah, Claire didn't follow in my footsteps of knowing all the Pokemon to this day, but she does know some of the original ones.
Yeah. And I liked Snorlax. I thought Snorlax was funny.
Why? Snorlax obviously is like a big bear who just eats and sleeps.
Yeah.
That's why his name's Snorlax.
I don't know. It reminds me of myself.
Yeah, and then so in Generation 4 of Pokemon, Snorlax got a baby form called Munchlax. And
so cute.
so you didn't know about Munchlax, did you?
No.
But then at the Pokemon Center, they have plush toys of like every Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like you're just looking around, and I was pointing at them all, being like, "What do you think of I don't know. What do you think of Apom? What do you think of Marill? What do you think of Dedenne?" And then I think I was like, "What do you think of Munchlax?" And you just fell in love.
It was so cute.
Why do you think why do you like him so
I don't know.
much?
I liked Snorlax, and then Munchlax was just like a baby one.
Yeah,
It was so
you really like
cute.
Munchlax. Who else did you like? You liked Fido, who's like the dog, but it's like a bun.
Like cinnamon buns.
A cinnamon bun and it evolves into Dash Bun.
Yeah, that was
You really like them.
cute.
Who else do you remember any others you liked? I mean, there's so many. You like Eevee.
Yeah, I do like Eevee.
Yeah.
No, I reckon those two were my favourite.
Yeah. Well, so we love Munchlax. We're a Munchlax family here. And then, so that first day we honestly just wanted to like explore. And I guess like, again, you've kind of talked about it, but it can be quite overwhelming. Like, did you find it in the train stations especially? Like, describe that experience for you.
They're just so big. Like, was it that the day that we went to, was it Tokyo Station where we booked all our...
That was Shinjuku Station, but we booked all the bullet trains because you have to book all the bullet trains in advance, yeah.
That was, like, crazy. Like, it was just so busy. It was like an entire shopping centre underground.
Yes,
And
because
then-
of all the subways, yeah.
Yeah. And then it just made me realise, like, anytime you're walking, like, above ground, there's still, like, an entire city underneath you.
Yeah, which is weird for us in Melbourne because
Yeah.
we don't have subways.
Yeah.
We have
Crazy.
Subways, the restaurant, the fast food, but we don't have Subways, the underground train networks. But as well as that, because I know like I knew you'd be overwhelmed because like it's a new city and it's really big. So I was trying to like get everything under control and be like the boyfriend who's like, I got this. So I went to book all our train tickets and I'm like, I'm going to just book them. Claire's going to just like go exploring. I'm going to book the tickets and we're going to be all set for the rest of the trip. And then I came to show you, yep, I've booked all the tickets. I've paid for them. And then I booked one for the wrong day.
Yeah, that was fine though. It was an easy
Yeah, thank you. And then I think like that night we went to, because there's a lot of like viewing points in the Shibuya city area that kind of look over the Scramble crossing from a high distance. And one of them is called Shibuya Sky, but that was sold out. But then you tell them what you found.
Yeah, on Instagram or something, I think I came across a post about a little like bar, like a rooftop bar called Mag's Park.
Yeah. And your Instagram algorithm just knew you were going to Japan because for
that's all that
2
I've
months,
been looking at.
2 months before the trip, you were just bombarding me with like, hey, I saw this, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was awesome. So it was like overlooking the Scramble and it was like 15, equivalent to like 15 Australian
1,500
dollars.
yen, so $15 for us at the moment.
Yeah.
You got a free drink on entry and
you
it was...
could just spend as long as you want there and there was hardly anyone there.
There was no one there and it was just an amazing view. There was like 7 people there, including us.
And I think at one point, like we were there for a little while. At one point, it was literally just us and one other person up there.
And there was like an American couple, like we were just chatting to them, remember? Yeah. And they were like clearly very rich because the guy was a doctor and they were staying at the Hilton.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't staying at the Hilton, unfortunately. But yeah, and then you just get this amazing view. And that was a good way to like take it all in Tokyo, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we wake up the next day and we did the Meiji Shrine and the Shinjuku Gyoen National Park, which was a highlight for me and I think you as well.
Yeah. That was really good.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was beautiful. We kind of got the end of cherry blossom season.
Yeah.
So it was just really beautiful. It was really nice and peaceful.
It's just this massive park with like a lake in it and cherry blossoms and like it was so beautiful. Like the scenery was just so beautiful walking through it. And we actually didn't intend to go there. We got recommended it by another American couple we met and I think we actually skipped this because what was the best meal we had in the whole trip?
Oh, the udon, carbonara udon, whatever it was.
Yeah. Which
it was good.
You found on Instagram, I think.
No, you did, I think.
Oh, did I find it?
Yeah.
And basically it was like this incredible meal. And what happened was like we got to this restaurant because we had scheduled it in because we saw it on TikTok or Insta and it looked amazing. And it was like, oh, please take a ticket and come back when your allocated time is here. And we were like, oh, it says it's going to take an hour. It's going to be an hour wait. So we were like, oh, well, let's go into the city and then come back to eat. And then we started walking towards the train station, and then within 5 minutes it was like, your time has come back.
That's right.
And I think there was like a glitch because like we just went straight to the front of the line after 5 minutes when it said it'd be an hour. And it was so worth it because it was like, just why don't you describe what we had? Like,
so it was like udon noodles that they like make fresh there. You can see the guy making the udon noodles. And then in this like eggy kind of like a eggy emulsion.
yeah,
I don't know. With
eggy,
like lots
cheesy.
of,
What's an emulsion?
I don't know, just like I don't know. I don't know why I
Why'd you
said
say
that.
it?
I don't know, it sounded like it fit.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
I'm going to look it
I
up.
don't
but
know.
You keep
I don't know why
You
I
keep
said it.
talking to them.
And then it had like lots of parmesan and like a tempura bacon, which was so good.
Yeah. So it was,
just like delicious, like real like comfort food.
Carbonara noodles, like cheesy, eggy, buttery noodles. And then the tempura bacon was the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. It was like, put aside any bacon you've ever had here. The quality of the food there is so good.
Yeah.
And that bacon, I can still taste it to this day. It was amazing. So we only went to the Shinjuku National Park because we met some people at that restaurant who said we should. Then we went to the Meiji Shrine, which is like one of the main shrines in the area, which was nice but quite touristy, I think. In the meantime, every morning you were having your egg sandwiches at 7-Eleven. I would get the fried chicken from 7-Eleven, which again, I've got to say, best fried chicken I've ever had in my life.
So good.
Moist and juicy. You could get a spicy version and like 100 times better than any KFC chicken I've ever had. And it was like $2.
So good.
Yeah. And also we had the strawberry and cream sandwiches.
Oh yeah, they were really
They were
good.
so good.
They were kind of becoming a bit scarce though by the end of the trip. Did you notice that?
Lucky we got them.
Yeah.
Well, they're a limited season run, I think.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. And also like the other thing in Japan is like the vending machines. Like we just walk past a vending machine. If it's the middle of the day, you get like a soft drink. If it's the morning, we'd get like a latte, and we'd try all the different drinks, and it was so awesome. And then
Got a few doctors.
got a few doctors. The doctor was in, Dr. Pepper. And okay, a few more things for Tokyo. What would you say was the scariest thing we did in Tokyo?
Oh yeah.
Tell
I
them
forgot
about this.
that. Or like go-karting. Is that what it is? Go-karting?
Yeah.
It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so scary for the first like 10 minutes because you're literally like driving a little crappy go-kart in the middle of the road, like surrounded by like cars and buses and trucks and whatever.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a real life Toad's Turnpike. If you've played Mario Kart 64, there's a level called Toad's Turnpike where you're driving on the highway. You know Toad's Turnpike.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You've played Mario Kart 64.
Have I?
Well, I assume so at some point.
I don't know.
It's Mario Kart on Nintendo 64.
I've played it at an arcade with you.
No, that's not Mario Kart 64. That's Mario Kart Arcade GP.
Okay. Well, that's what I've played.
But you would have played Mario Kart when you were a kid.
Nintendo Wii?
No, 64.
Well, no, I didn't have that.
But you would have played it.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
anyway,
think I
after
did.
this, I'll show you Toad's Turnpike. But
Okay.
basically, it was like a 2-hour go-kart tour in Akihabara, which is like a really nice area of Tokyo. And you're just driving on the road with, like you said, other cars, trucks and everything. And you're not wearing a helmet or anything. It's kind of intimidating. But it was awesome. But at first it was very, very scary.
Yeah. It felt very like touristy, but I don't know. It's still just awesome. I loved it.
But you see them everywhere. Like every place we were, you'd see the go-karts going around.
Yeah.
And I think these places like popped up, and at first, like 10 years ago, they were all branding themselves as Mario Kart. right? But then I'm pretty sure Nintendo was like, you can't do this and use our branding because someone's probably going to die eventually. So Nintendo did a cease and desist. And remember when you like sign the waiver, it says you must if you sign this, you acknowledge we have no affiliation with Nintendo or Mario Kart.
Yeah, that was weird.
And when we were in the go-karts, the first thing that happened, because the guy who was leading the tour, it was me, you, and then 3 other girls from America, right? The guy who was leading it was like, who's feeling a bit scared? And all of you girls put your hands up. So then he put me at the back, right? And then
Were you feeling scared?
Not really. Not until I got in the car on the road.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as we started, within 5 minutes, a big truck basically overtook me. So I was just by myself in this go-kart, separated from the group in the middle of the road. And it was also nighttime. It was intense.
Yeah, that was scary. I didn't like that bit.
Why? Oh, did you miss me?
Well, I was worried about you. I thought you were, I don't know, just going to get lost.
Thankfully, all the traffic are reasonably patient with the go-karts, in a way that just wouldn't happen in Australia.
Yeah, no, 100% it wouldn't work.
If you did that in Melbourne, you'd just get beeped and people would be so pissed off at you and angry.
Yeah, literally get rammed.
Yeah. And then, we did a bunch more stuff in Tokyo. I think, we did the Micro Pig Cafe.
Yeah, I loved that. That was really cute. They were really happy little pigs.
The mini pigs, yeah.
Except
for the one mum pig who was really big and no one wanted to pat her and she was getting angry and starting to attack the other pigs. Don't you remember that?
She wasn't attacking the other pigs.
She attacked one of them.
Did she?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Caused a big stir. Maybe you were too infatuated with your pig.
Do you remember my pig's name?
No. Don't tell me. Oh, yes, I do. I do. It was Porn.
I asked the girl that was working. I was like, "Oh, what's this one's name?" She goes, "Porn." I was like, "What was it?" Porn.
Porn.
I was like, "Oh, cool." Porn the pig.
You had another one though.
Yeah, I can't remember the other one.
Was it Star? I'm sure it was Porn.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. But yeah, basically the pigs just come and sit on you and you feed them little treats. And we booked it online. So
I don't feed them anything.
I think, didn't we feed them?
No.
We booked online, so we were there for an hour, whereas everyone else clearly did 15-minute stints and stuff. So the people were just cycling through, and me and Claire were like, "Yeah, awesome." And they give you free drinks as well. That was good. Good service.
I don't think I drank anything though because I was
too infatuated with porn.
Yeah.
You were just addicted to porn. You just loved porn.
Porn the pig.
Porn the pig.
It was so cute. I loved it.
Maybe we pivot just off that to at the end of the trip when we were back in Tokyo, we also went to a hedgehog cafe. Now, I'll be honest with you. The hedgehog cafe felt like the one where the animals were enjoying it the least.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't like that as much. But I think it was also the hedgehogs that we were given at the start, not given, that we were sat in front of.
Partnered with, yeah.
I think they were just very scared.
Yeah.
And so it just felt very wrong. We kind of didn't, I don't know, we were going to leave and then they were like, "Oh, you can
go somewhere.
Look at the other hedgehogs if you want." And one of them was like, "Oh, do you want to hold this one? This is."
Yeah.
And I know the other ones were pretty chill and pretty happy to just sleep on you. And
yeah, the ones we got first, every time you picked them up, they just immediately be like, "Nah," try to jump out of your hands, right? Whereas then there were some that would just sit there. And then they had a meerkat. Come and pat the meerkat. And the meerkat was just in a box, in a cardboard box, and it was clearly terrified of everything going on. So we didn't like that. And then there were two hedgehogs towards the end. And I was like, "Oh, what are these ones' names?" They're like, "Oh, they're new. They don't have names." And I was like, "Call them Mike and Claire after us." And they're like, "Okay." So now hopefully there are 2 hedgehogs named after us at the Harajuku Hedgehog Cafe. So go visit it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't reckon they would have called them after us.
I think they did. They loved it. They loved the idea.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, 2 more things. The tea place that we went to.
Yeah, that was great.
That was nice.
What was it called again?
Chinoma. which I said sounded like something Michael Jackson would say. Genoma. And it was really rainy that day. We actually got mixed weather, but it was pretty good. Like most days it wasn't freezing. No. Some days it just rained, but then some days
fine.
it was warm.
Like, we had our umbrellas and it was kind of comfortable to just walk around.
Yeah. I broke my umbrella from Kmart on the second day, bought a new one, which lasted the whole trip, but then I've lost it. I don't know where it is.
Lost it on the last day. Yeah, that was weird.
Well, maybe I left it at the Airbnb.
Maybe.
I don't know. But it was just a traditional Japanese tea house, but there was a big line. So we waited for like probably an hour.
Yeah.
And we were about to give up because we had TeamLabs after. Right. And that was on the other side of the city. But this place had been recommended to us by some friends. And so finally we got in and it was just a really chill, warm and cozy place. You sit on the floor, they bring you your green tea and we got like was it terrine?
Yeah, it was essentially like a cheesecake, wasn't it?
Little cheesecake and green tea. And you didn't get green tea. Did you get black tea?
No, I got matcha. You got a black tea.
Oh, yeah, I got black tea. Yeah. Whoops, I forget everything. You've got a good memory.
I don't know about that. But yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really relaxing. And that was just, one of those things where you're just sitting there drinking tea and this like, there's only like 6 tables, I guess, even though you're sitting on the floor and you take your shoes off and everything. On the tatami. Yeah. And I guess then we headed over to TeamLabs.
Yes. TeamLabs was awesome.
Sorry. Claire was just like pointing at me, like I thought you wanted to hold hands, but I'm playing with this like toy banana we got from Kmart the other night for $2 and it's just become the highlight of our relationship is playing with this banana. So Claire actually wanted that. How is it?
It's good.
It's just like a squishy banana that you can stretch and stuff. I want it back. Nah, you keep it.
We can hold one half each.
Why don't you talk a little bit about TeamLabs? Because I'm going to say it was probably a top 3 things we did during the trip for me.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. Like an immersive art experience. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah.
Just really cool. It kind of reminded me of Loom in Melbourne, but like
it's way better.
Heaps better.
Yeah.
And more like
interactive.
Yeah, that's the word.
So yeah, it's like an art gallery, but we didn't really even know what to expect, but it's just a very touristy thing to do. Like everyone talks about it. And you kind of go in and like there's a few funny things at the start because they're like, first thing is like that, because we didn't know really what to expect. It's like, there is knee-deep water, so you will need to take your shoes and socks off and roll up your pants. And then the other thing I thought was just funny was like, if you're wearing a skirt, there are some sections where there are mirrors on the floor, so your underwear will be visible.
But they, and it said like, we have shorts you can wear.
We have free shorts you can rent. And I was like, oh, I'd hate to put on some like gross shorts that someone's just worn before. But yeah, so it was just, the first exhibit I think was just like you're walking through in the dark and there's like ankle length water.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of to clean your feet, was it?
I thought that was an exhibit.
I think it was more to, I don't know, maybe it was, I don't know. I thought it was to clean your feet.
But you're not really cleaning them. Like you're wetting them. You're not really cleaning them.
But I think was it like...
disinfectant?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, I didn't think that.
It was a bit of a smell. I don't know. Maybe not.
And then what else was there? There was one room that was just a dark pillow room. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. The floor was all squishy.
Yeah. The whole thing is like to stimulate your senses, I think. And remember we were in there and I turned to the guy and I was like, oh, can I just jump? Like, can I just fall over onto the squishy floor? And he was like, okay. So
and then while you were like, had turned around to ask that,
permission,
the guy in front of you just did like,
backflip.
It's just like doing heaps of like tumbles.
And then there's the one, then you kind of go into the light, there's like the light room where there's like all these lights dangling from the sky and they light up and flat. Remember that? And
yeah, that's right. It was really like twinkly.
And it's almost like a maze. Like you kind of have to go through all these lights.
That was beautiful.
I
really liked.
And then there was the big balls.
Yeah.
The big floaty balls that are like glowing.
Yeah.
And then there was there was one where you're knee deep in water and there's like fake fish, LED light fish in the water, and they respond to your movements, which is crazy. But the best one was the one where we were lying on the floor and looking up at the roof, and it was like a galaxy of flowers. So it's like you're looking into space and the flowers it's so hard to explain.
We were there for ages.
We're just lying there, and
that was awesome. I liked that. Yeah.
And then we went home, and that was more or less, that was Tokyo, the first sort of 5 days of our trip. Is there anything else you remember?
We went to Tokyo Tower.
Oh, yes, we went to the Tokyo Tower.
And the cat temple.
And talk about the Lucky Cat Temple. You tell it well. You tell it well.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know, it was awesome. It was just like, it was like a real rainy day when we went. So I think it was very quiet. Like there wasn't many people there. It was maybe like half an hour out of Tokyo.
Yeah, and it's not as touristy as like the Meiji Shrine, which is in the city. It's like a bit far out. And I'd never been there before.
Yeah. But it was awesome. There was just like hundreds or maybe thousands of these like the lucky cats, like the
cat waving. Everyone knows it.
The knocking cat
Yeah,
thing.
the knocking cat.
Like hundreds or thousands, I don't know how many of them, just like around this temple.
Yeah, and it was so quiet. Like you
there was
could hear a
hardly
pin
anyone
drop.
there.
It was quite,
Really-
we were whispering.
Yeah, very serene. It was awesome. And the idea is you go there and you can buy like one of these little lucky cats or whatever size you want.
Yeah.
And you make a wish. And then when your wish comes true, you come back and you leave the cat, your cat.
You bring the cat back.
Yeah.
So we both made a wish.
Yeah.
We don't know what the other person wished for because you can't say. But when the wish comes true, you go back and you leave your cat there. So some of the little cats, remember, had like people who had written like 2002 to 2024 came true. Or like, so people had held on to them for like 20 years and come back to bring them when the wish came true, which was like really, really cool.
Yeah.
And we walked around that suburb, I guess, and it was just so much different to Tokyo City because it was just so like quiet and peaceful, I guess, compared to like the hustle and bustle of the main city.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. I loved that.
Do you want to talk about your incident at the train station? Your little incident.
I had a fall.
Claire had a fall.
It was it that day? It was a really wet day anyway.
It was one of the first few days we were there.
Yeah. And I don't really know what happened, but we were at like going to step onto the train. Mike was in front of me. I like put one foot onto the train and just slipped. Like my shoe, there must have been water or something. I don't know. My shoe just like slid forward and then my other leg somehow got trapped like between the train and the platform. So one leg was
scary.
like down this crevice.
Yes.
And then my other leg was just like straight out in front of me. And Mike,
so you couldn't get up.
I like literally was just stuck there. I couldn't get up no matter how hard I tried. Mike like eventually turned around and just saw me like on the ground and was just like looking at me like, what are you doing?
Well, because I got on first and then I heard this big bump. Yeah, and then I turn around and there's like 3 Japanese guys at the door, like in suits, reaching down to get you. So then I walk over to help. And then it was like this classic diffusion of responsibility thing because as soon as they saw me start coming, they stopped reaching down to grab you. And then I was like, oh, they're grabbing her. So I stopped and then no one was grabbing you. So you were like, just Mike, get me up. Like, but it's just funny. Like everyone just like diffused responsibility onto someone else. But I was so sad. But you were so
scared. I like literally my life like flashed before my eyes.
Wow.
And I thought like the door's gonna close. I'm gonna freaking, I don't know, either die or lose my leg or something. Like I just had fully convinced myself in those like, I mean, it was only a few
like
seconds.
10 seconds, yeah.
But I just like convinced myself that I was going to lose my leg. And then,
I did too.
It was not good, but I had all these bruises all over my leg. Do you remember?
That was terrible. And then I was like, Claire's going to hate the rest of the trip now. But the next day you were fine.
And
you
I
were a
didn't
bit
have
tense
any-
for that night, but then the next day you were like, oh, this is awesome.
I didn't have any other falls for the trip, so that was great.
That's true. The other thing we did do, which maybe we'll quickly talk about, but I kind of wanted to do a separate thing on it, was we went to Tokyo Disney Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big theme park guy. We obviously went to Disneyland and Walt Disney Studios in Paris last year. So in Tokyo, they have Disneyland, same as all the other Disneylands, and then they have Disney Sea, which is an exclusive Japanese park. And like, it was fun, but it was definitely like probably the worst Disney park I've been to. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great day.
Yeah, it was fun, but like the rides weren't like super thrilling, I didn't think. Like from a ride perspective.
I mean, the dinosaur one. Oh, no. Was
What was
that
the dinosaur one? That's
Sorry.
at Universal.
Oh,
See, you
sorry.
don't even remember the rides
they're
from
merging
Disney Sea.
together. What about the Hollywood one? Where was that?
That was at Universal.
I can't even remember. What did we go on?
Well, we went on that one that was like the Raging Spirits coaster that had the loop-de-loop. That was the only one with a loop-de-loop. That small roller coaster. Then there was like the Indiana Jones ride. And then there was like the Journey to the Center. Yeah, you don't remember any of the stuff we did.
What about the one with the big screen and you're like on a plane?
That was at Disney Sea.
Yeah.
Tell them about that.
You were like, it was, hang on. It was like as if you're on a plane. Like
Yeah.
everyone was kind of sitting next to each other and you got kind of buckled in. It was like you were on a plane and then there was like a huge screen in front of you.
Yeah.
You kind of get lifted up into the air and just like as if you're like flying through the air on a plane and the screen's showing like, I don't know, like all over the world. Like it's like you're doing.
Yeah, you go through Sydney, like China. You went through to Sydney, the Opera House and everything, the Great Wall of China, I think.
Yeah.
You just go, basically, like we had no idea what it was, but it was a huge line. It was like a 3-hour line the whole day. But the thing here's a hack for Disney Sea, get the app because every 2 hours you can get a free fast pass to a different ride. So we got the fast pass to that and we went on it and we didn't know what it was. You sit down and then it lifts you up and then you're basically like flying through the world. That was a really cool ride.
It was
actually
very well done. I enjoyed that.
And they had all the different flavored popcorn. Remember across all the areas there was different popcorns.
Oh, and the mochi.
Oh yeah, and the Toy Story. Tell them about that.
I don't know, another thing I saw on Instagram. The little like green aliens from Toy Story, but they were a little mochi and they were delicious.
We searched for a long time for them as well. We asked everyone, where can we get the mochi? That's like, and then we didn't even stay for the whole day at Disney Sea.
We were pretty I think because we'd been so busy in the days before, we were both like pretty wrecked.
Yeah, but also like we were pretty set out to be like, we'll stay and watch the fireworks. But then it got to like 5 o'clock and we're like, we've done all the rides. Like we're not going to stay for another 5 hours here for the fireworks. So then we just went home and chilled. But give your one sentence review of Tokyo. Like, did you love Tokyo?
Loved it.
Yeah. Well, it was less than a sentence. Just 2 words. 2-word sentence. No, it was awesome. I loved traveling around with you. We were doing like 25,000 steps a day. And it was just like, I don't know. It was so good.
We had the best time. So good.
Well, next time, I guess, do we do Kyoto as like another mini app? And then we can do Osaka and all the day trips we did at Osaka.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the Fuji weekend. And that'll be it.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah? All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. Love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too.
Well, thank you. All right. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your trip. Maybe that's how we end these. Enjoy your trip.
What?
That's how we end the world tour episodes.
Okay.
By saying enjoy your trip.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, we'll say it.
Enjoy your trip.
Yeah, well, good. Enjoy your trip, guys. Bye.
Bye.